Imagine standing on a rickety wooden plank hundreds of feet in the air. Your palms sweat, your heart hammers against your ribs, and the ground below seems to sway. Now, imagine you could face this paralyzing fear, not on a dangerous precipice, but from the complete safety of a therapist's office. This is the transformative promise of virtual reality therapy, VRT, a groundbreaking approach that is rapidly moving from the realm of science fiction into the forefront of clinical practice. By creating immersive, controllable, and profoundly realistic digital worlds, VRT is not only changing how we treat mental health conditions, but is expanding the very definition of what's possible in therapy. It is a clinical method that uses advanced computer technology to place a patient inside a simulated, three-dimensional environment. This is not to be confused with augmented reality, AR, which overlays digital information onto our real world. VR, in contrast, is designed to create a total immersion, effectively convincing the brain that it is somewhere else. This sense of presence is the psychological key that unlocks its therapeutic power, allowing a virtual scenario to trigger genuine emotional and physiological reactions. The idea of immersive experiences is not new. Its conceptual roots can be traced back to Morton Heilig's Sensorama in 1957, a mechanical contraption that offered a multi-sensory cinematic experience with visuals, sound, vibration, and even smell. However, the clinical journey of VR began in the 1990s with pioneers like Dr. Barbara Olasoff-Rothbaum, who first used it to treat fear of flying. Since then, as technology has become exponentially more powerful and affordable, the applications for VRT have exploded. At its core, VRT doesn't invent a new philosophy of treatment. Instead, it functions as a high-tech delivery system for some of the most established and effective principles in psychology, most notably cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. Its greatest strength lies in its application of exposure therapy, the gold standard treatment for anxiety and trauma-related disorders. For decades, therapists have helped patients confront their fears through in-vivo, real-life, or imaginal in-the-mind exposure. Both have limitations. Asking someone with severe social anxiety to give a speech to a real audience can be a non-starter, while simply imagining a spider may not be vivid enough to truly conquer a phobia. VRT bridges this gap. It offers what has been described as the perfect balance, perfect control, but imperfect reality. A therapist can create a meticulously controlled environment where a patient can face a virtual version of their fear. This allows for a process of systematic desensitization where the intensity is gradually increased according to the patient's tolerance, ensuring they are challenged but never overwhelmed. This has proven incredibly effective. Meta-analyses, including a large 2025 study of over 3,000 participants, have consistently shown that VRT leads to significant reductions in anxiety symptoms. The applications are as varied as human fears themselves. It is routinely used for acrophobia, fear of heights, fear of flying, public speaking anxiety, and even needle phobia. Researchers are even experimenting with enhancing these experiences with tactile feedback. Imagine feeling the rumble of a virtual airplane or the texture of a wooden plank under your feet. Beyond simple phobias, VRT has become a vital tool in treating the deep wounds of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. For a combat veteran, it is impossible and dangerous to return to the battlefield for therapeutic purposes. VRT systems like Virtual Iraq and Virtual Afghanistan allow therapists to safely and progressively recreate the sensory details of a traumatic event. By controlling the sights, sounds, and even smells within the simulation, a therapist can guide the patient through the traumatic memory, helping them to process it and integrate new information of safety. The neurological impact is profound. Pathological fear is often linked to an overactive amygdala, the brain's alarm system, and reduced control from the prefrontal cortex. By repeatedly activating the fear memory in a safe context, VRET is believed to strengthen the top-down control from the prefrontal cortex, effectively retraining the brain's fear response. Research shows that VRET is not only as effective as traditional PTSD treatments, but has shown particular promise for those who have not responded to other therapies. While anxiety and PTSD are its most established applications, VRT is now being explored across a wide spectrum of mental health conditions. For major depressive disorder, MDD, a primary challenge is often a lack of motivation and the inability to experience pleasure, a symptom known as anhedonia. VR-enhanced behavioral activation, VRBA, aims to overcome this by immersing patients in engaging and rewarding virtual activities, helping to reestablish the crucial link between action and positive feelings. One study found that the simple novelty and excitement of using VR technology provided an anticipatory mood lift before the therapy even began. In the realm of addiction, VRQ exposure therapy, VRCET, immerses patients in high-risk environments like a virtual bar or party to elicit cravings in a controlled setting. This provides a critical opportunity to practice coping skills and refusal techniques under the guidance of a therapist. More radical approaches are also emerging. Researchers at Indiana University developed Relate XR, a program where individuals in recovery can interact with two future avatars of themselves, one who has remained sober and one who has relapsed, with the dialogues based on their own personal hopes and fears. A pilot study found this powerful intervention doubled the participants' ability to delay gratification. The versatility of VRT continues to expand into other areas. Pain management. VR acts as a powerful cognitive distraction, consuming attentional resources that would otherwise be focused on pain signals. It has been shown to produce substantial reductions in acute pain, such as during burn wound care. Schizophrenia and psychosis. VR provides a safe, structured environment to improve social and cognitive skills. In a remarkable application, therapists can teach patients to exert control over their symptoms, for instance, by learning to turn down the volume on simulated hallucinations. Autism spectrum disorders, ASD. The predictable and repeatable nature of virtual worlds makes them an ideal space for individuals with ASD to practice social interactions and emotional recognition in a non-threatening way. The real-world equation, promise and pitfalls. As with any powerful technology, the implementation of VRT is not without its challenges. Cybersickness, a form of motion sickness with symptoms like nausea and dizziness, affects a significant portion of users and can be a barrier to treatment. There is also the generalization challenge, ensuring that the skills learned in the virtual world successfully transfer to the patient's real life. Perhaps the most significant hurdle is the ethical landscape, particularly concerning data privacy. VR systems are powerful data collection devices capable of tracking everything from eye movements and heart rate to subtle behavioral reactions. This raises the specter of a digital panopticon, where highly personal data could be vulnerable. As this technology advances, establishing robust ethical and privacy frameworks will be paramount to maintaining public and patient trust. From an economic standpoint, the narrative is shifting. Once seen as prohibitively expensive, the falling cost of consumer-grade hardware and evidence of long-term cost-effectiveness are making VRT a more viable option. A cost simulation analysis for the U.S. Navy found that using VRET for combat-related PTSD resulted in a net savings of over $114,000 for a cohort of just 12 participants by returning more service members to duty. The future of virtual reality therapy is one of intelligent integration. The next generation of VRT will be powered by artificial intelligence, creating truly adaptive therapies that analyze a patient's biometric data in real time to dynamically adjust the experience. Imagine a fear of heights simulation where the virtual wind picks up slightly as the patient's heart rate steadies, always keeping them in the optimal therapeutic zone. The addition of advanced haptics, gloves that simulate touch and texture, will deepen the sense of presence, making the virtual world feel even more real. We are moving beyond simple simulations to the generation of novel therapeutic experiences that can directly interact with the brain's internal model of the self. Virtual reality therapy has evolved from a technological curiosity into a validated and transformative tool. It offers a unique combination of safety, control, and engagement that overcomes many of the limitations of traditional therapies. While challenges remain, its trajectory is clear. As technology and our understanding of the brain continue to advance in parallel, VRT is poised to become not just an alternative treatment, but a new class of powerful, personalized, and accessible digital medicine, offering new pathways to healing for millions. The only limits, as one leading researcher noted, are our imaginations and our clinical acumen.